Piers Morgan has also joined in.
AI of, how to do text messaging, it would come out like this, right? It didn't read to me very natural. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, I've got 3 adult kids that text me, not every time I'd like them to, but they do, and it never sounds like that. I can't remember the last time my 22-year-old used a comma. My 18-year-old certainly never has.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way. And it's either AI or when I started reading it, other than, no one saying rifle, no one saying my love over and over. My first thought was, this is someone who doesn't speak English as their first language. They're translating it. But it's almost like when it's like sending a dude from South Boston to Georgia and having them fit in. You just sound a little bit different. I can tell you from somewhere else. The texts don't make any sense whatsoever. And the way that they're just put out there, this long, dramatic script. That's in a handful of stuff that just doesn't make sense to me anyway. I wasn't there. I need to keep reiterating that. I didn't like that. I don't like the number of tools that you need to take apart for 30-06, or how much time you need, how many different tools, and then
well, that's really interesting. So let me stop you there. So if you were doing that with all your training, you were one of the most elite guys in special forces in American history. If you were dismantling this precise rifle, how long would it take you to do it?
A 30-06, well, it's going to take several minutes. I can't even remember. I grew up, my first rifle was a 30-06 in Montana, and I can't remember the last time I took it apart. I could take the bolt out, clean that off, but in order to break it down to the point where you can even walk with a limp, it's going to take a solid 5 minutes, I would guess, with different. I don't even think you use that type of a screwdriver that he had with his DNA conveniently all over it, because everything you touch has your DNA on it. It's just taking it apart, putting it together, taking a shot cold bore, by the way, where your scope wasn't on there, taking it back apart, putting it in your pants, climbing down a fence, getting back into the woods, putting it together as you're on the run, wrapping it in a towel, then driving 200 miles away to type to my love the 300 lines of text. It's just, none of it makes sense to me. Again, I'm not conspiring with anybody, and I'm not saying it was something that it's not. And like Mike was saying, it's usually the most obvious thing that happened is what happened. I wish it never happened, but so many things just don't add up to me.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly reasonable, Joseph, for people to ask questions, right? I mean, you don't have to buy into any single conspiracy theory or say that it actually won't end up being exactly, like Mike said, exactly how we think it is, right? And it might be the case. But Charlie Kirk wasn't just any shooting victim. He was the leader of the young conservative Christian right movement in the United States. That carried with it a lot of fame, a lot of infamy, a lot of acclaim, a lot of people that loved him, people that hated him. There's a clear political element to all this, which hasn't fully unraveled yet in terms of exactly how radicalized this shooter was. Did anybody else help him? We don't really know yet, right? There are lots of unanswered questions. I have no problem in this kind of process, particularly with all the disinformation flying around, the obvious stuff that's nonsense, in actually just doing what Rob just did and go, you know what? This might all be completely how it went down. But for someone like Rob O'Neill to say it would take him 5 minutes to do what I think the police had said was done in like a minute or so, that immediately says to me, well, that's a bit odd. It is a bit odd, right? How did this young kid who hasn't been in the military, wasn't a Navy SEAL, didn't kill Osama bin Laden, how has he managed to do all this with such apparent ease and fire one shot that carries out the purpose that he had, which was to murder Charlie Kirk from nearly 200 yards away? He may have just got incredibly lucky, and he might be incredibly quick at dismantling and putting together his granddad's rifle, but it is all a bit odd.
Yeah, it is. I think that one of the interesting aspects of this, from an investigative perspective, is going back in time and trying to understand if there's anything in his data that's going to indicate when he took notice. I don't know if this is possible, when he took notice that Charlie would be present on campus. Did he go there to that particular area and surveil that area? That's a very specific location. Yeah. How did he get access to that roof without being seen, and also carrying a long arm up there? Did he disassemble it prior to taking it up there? Did he reassemble it? If you look at that one image that's on the roof, you can see there's like evidence markers up there, and it appears to be, at least, the roof is flat, it's covered with gravel. you can see what it looks like, the outline of an individual that is lying in a prone position. I don't know, maybe that's just convenience, maybe that's my lying eyes, I have no idea, but when I see that, that's what I'm thinking. And there's going to be a lot of little points of evidentiary value along the way. Here's something else that we really haven't considered. Unlike, if you think about the Zapruder film all those years ago, you had one POV there. I can tell you this, I know that there were a lot of people out there filming this. We have yet to see all of that data from multiple perspectives, all the way around 360 degrees from that specific point at that moment. No one was expecting this. And as the old adage goes, the camera never blinks. When all of that is compiled as well, that's going to be another piece to this that we don't really have a view of at this point in time. And there's any number of cases out there. We're just coming off the coast.
Making a lot harder than it needs to be.
Well, that's why I found the golf course one almost more shocking than the first one, actually, because this is where he played golf many Sundays. It was his local golf course in Florida, and the vantage point that the shooter chose was where the media used to go if they wanted to get a good, clean shot, ironically, of Trump playing golf with a camera. Right, so it was almost like doing stuff by numbers. If you were trying to work out where somebody might try and kill him on his golf course, you would choose that very area of bushes. And yet that guy was allowed to be there for 12 hours. I still find that really shocking.
Well, even when they're tracking him, and it's almost like there was a movie, I think, Clear and Present Danger, where they're showing sniper training, and they grabbed like a quarter pounder with cheese wrapper. He had lunch here. They were doing that with this dude in Florida. He must have eaten here, and he's like, "Come on, guys, what? On what planet are you doing security?" It's like, and the most obvious spot, put a dude there, put a guy or a girl there, whoever's working for and watch it. It's this go to the principal spot. Where would I be? And if I was taking a shot at this person, where would I go? It's not this. I mean, we're really talking easy stuff here. For some reason, we like to make everything a lot more difficult.
Yeah, I agree.
So somehow or another, this guy has the state of mind that the moment someone gets shot, he yells out and says, I did it, and takes his pants down or something like that. I don't know exactly what he did. Then, ready for this? He gets arrested for child porn right away.
Right after this happened?
Oh, right away. He's in jail for child porn. Why is that? Well, now you can't interview him.
So we looked into this on the bomb threat history. The Associated Press did report on April the 23rd, 2013, that this guy, George Zinn, made a bomb threat at the Utah Marathon shortly after the Boston Marathon. But there's no actual evidence he was also at the Boston Marathon. On the 9/11 suggestion, there's no credible evidence supporting claims that Zinn was present at that either. A lot of these associations seem to have been promoted from pretty crazy accounts on X, not verified reporting. The child pornography arrest did happen. So again, Mike, there's a lot of stuff flying around here, and no one's really sure what to believe. It was a weird moment because I was watching it all at the time, and this guy, George Zinn, is quite well known to people. He's quite notorious. The fact he was there at all just looked very odd, but he seems to have been just a complete red herring. He's nothing to do with this.
Yeah. Look, and that goes back to what we talked about before, right? You've got to build, whether you're an individual who's trying to assess the credibility of something you're reading online, whether you're involved in an investigation.
It's clear that the issue of controversies revolving around Charlie Kirk is not going down. Why? Because now today we saw that Piers Morgan also had an issue with this issue and questioned how is it possible that these things do not add up. And everyone can see that the guests here are also questioning, apart from the one that you expect them to lie. Because if you're supporting the government, you will just lie until Jesus comes. And this has been the problem. We have been lying all the time because they lied that Epstein was acting alone. And now they are lying that whatever was happened here is what they are reporting. But there's a lot of issues surrounding this matter and discrepancies that you cannot even understand. And the question is, why do you think Charlie Kirk was killed? My point is, I feel one thing is the FBI is taking an advantage and utilizing this to distract people from Epstein files. Also, this is my assumption now, I feel like maybe this was a sign maybe this was someone was communicating to Trump and telling him, you see, I killed your boy. Just know this is what will happen to you if, by any chance, you go against me to a certain extent. Or it may be a bad beef, personal beef, because there are some issues regarding Turning Point USA and some issues that people cannot understand, and the discrepancies that Candace Owens has highlighted. And the same thing here, no matter what you want to believe, no matter which side you support, you can tell there's something wrong here. There's someone trying to hide information. And why would the FBI hide information? One, use or hide the information to distract the public and fuel conspiracies, which will push further the narrative and distract us from Epstein files, because they are destroying the image of the government, and also to distract the people from whatever Easy is doing in the Middle East. And we know this. Some things happen to distract people. And when I see whatever is happening today, I see another government intention to hide information, just like it did in 9/11. And this is not new. It's a kind of a mockingbird situation where the government is intending to or giving information that is wrong to the public just to misguide them. And it's not new. And the question is, you now go to why? And also, you also stop buying to the story, official narrative, because official narrative doesn't make sense. So we do research, but also don't forget the matters we had an issue at hand by then, that is Epstein, and whatever is happening at Middle East should not be forgotten, because this is what the government wants. And if you fall to the trap, then we are not doing better. But the thing is, we need justice. By the way, it's funny that even during the funeral, I don't know how many people saw Charlie Kirk family, parent, father, or sister speak, and didn't see anyone there. And my question was, how comes that the family members never spoke, but we have all these politicians speaking? We have never seen the family members pushing for justice. My question is, why? I don't have another one to say another time to explain this, but my issue is, why do you think this is happening? Let's think beyond. Why do you think the government is feeding us the wrong information? Why is the official narrative not making sense? Because even whatever they call exit route or entry route doesn't make sense to me. And there are some investigations that are not happening, and the question is, why? Like yesterday, we saw, just a few hours ago, Candace Owens released a video and said that there was a woman who was helping the shooter. Why are we not having this information? It's intentionally to misguide the public and distract them from the main issue or the matter that the government doesn't want us to keep focus on. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. I'm your host, James. Let's meet in the next video.